Morning. It's a little bit wet this morning. We've just arrived at a place called Kasteel van Beersel. We can't actually, I think the castle's behind those trees. I don't think it's anything for us to go in, but we're going to have a little bit of a look around. And there we are. Well, the castle is closed at the minute. We're debating on whether we're going to sit around for an hour or so. We have got other things to do today, but that would be the castle. We're told there's not much inside. It's not really worth the money inside, so I doubt we'll be. Still, it is quite impressive with a moat round it as well. There we go, there's another angle of it. Nice moat. We have actually decided to come and have a look around and inside. Its castle dates back to the 14th century and was built to protect the Duchy of Brabant. And I think it was also there to protect the city of Brussels from attacks from the people of Flanders, which is still part of Belgium. I think it's built as what's called on a motte. So I don't think that's got anything to do with moat. Let's have a little bit of a look inside. So, our first castle. Which is a round building. Quite impressive. This is one of the rooms just close to where the drawbridge would have been, so I'm assuming this is where the people would have worked for letting you in, so security. So this is the door for it, and there's the gate. There would have been a drawbridge and probably a portcullis for that. Okay, we're going to take ourselves a walk upstairs. Okay, we're halfway up, and leads us to this room. The chimney breast and the window into the courtyard. And windows back across the ground. This brickwork along this walkway is well worn, but gives us a great view into the courtyard and also across the land and the moat. Sure, you're aware that the crosses that they use in the window areas are for the bows, so you could shoot at different angles, and generally I presume that bit so you could get your bow in And this is so you could pour boiling oil onto those trying to scale the walls. This would have been the loo. So you, don't know if you can see, it's very dark, but you sit yourself over there and let it go, and that would run outside the castle. Very similar to the room below, with the chimneys, windows overlooking the courtyard, and windows looking across the land. They all have window seats, so there must have been really good places to sit for the day. So we've reached the 3rd floor. On the 3rd floor, when you come up these steps, there's like an outer walkway. Which is quite good. So the inner wall is here on the left hand side. That's where the room is, and this is where you could man the battlements to protect the castle. And these will work their way round one of the corner pieces. Oh, and how far it goes. Oh, very strange. I think these steps take us back into the room. So this, take a look up those steps, see where they lead. We're at the very top now, so this bit is wooden, so this section would be tiled, I'm presuming, on the outside. So if we take a little bit of a look across the courtyard, like the other tower, and they're very similar. Very cool. This is the tower we went up, the one at the entrance, and went right up into that roof space. Cool. Oh, by the way, the moat has got some lovely carp in it. Well, we're taking a little bit of a walk around the castle now. Oh, there was a nice fish turn down there. There is some beautiful carp in here. If I can get one on camera, I will. It's a shame it gets a bit of a slating on reviews, the castle, but it's not bad for just £3 or £4. Shame you can't fish it. That's quite a spectacular castle from this side, although it states 1617 on there, I think. I think that's just when bits were added. So, but yeah, it's good. Okay, just one last look, and that is the turret we went up. Really pleased we came. Really good. Been a nice morning. Bit damp, but it's been good so far. Yeah. Been a nice morning. Really nice. Well, we've made it to Waterloo. That's the battlefield over there. We're going to sit around for half an hour, and see if it clears up. It's absolutely siling down. Okay, it's finally eased up a little bit. So there's the monument, the lion that overlooks the battlefield, and some various bits and pieces around for us to have a look at. Let's see what we've got. There's one of the horse and carts that would have been used during Wellington's time. This is a panorama of the battlefield. There's Napoleon. So this is the French that must be attacking this mound. And that's Hoogmont Farm burning in the background. These are the British squares being attacked by the Ney, the cavalry. Always form square for cavalry. And in the background there is the Duke of Wellington and his staff. Up on there, that mound is the Prince of Orange, Silly Billy, I think the English called him. And this part is portraying a counter-attack by Dutch cavalry. The building in the background is Mount St. Jean Farm. That's where the wounded were taken. It was used as a hospital. And just beyond that ridge there is the sunken road of O'Hain. the smoke in the background is from Prussian batteries. And there is Beersel Farm. And that's all the way around the battlefield. How cool is that? Once more round from Napoleon. I'll scroll right out for this. After that fantastic panorama, if we go up onto the Lion's Mound and we start to walk round from there, that's kind of looking over the battlefield itself today. So we'll make our way up there. There's quite a few steps to do. We've made it to the top. That was 224 steps, if you don't know. I counted every one. These are the English lines. So there was one of the farmhouses. It follows kind of the same as the panorama earlier. In the distance there is where the English casualties were. Van and some artillery. Let's take a look at. So this was the battlefield. The French was his son farm. Not sure, I can't remember what they called that one in the distance, but was actually where the British casualties went to, used as a hospital. So the British lines would have been around here.
Non, je suis pas prêt. Je suis pas prêt, Dean. Dean, je suis pas prêt. Non.
Distance over there. Not sure there's the Lion. Incidentally, the battle was on the 18th of June 1815. There you go. The mound was built between 1824 and 1826. It's dedicated to the soldiers who died on the 18th of June 1815 and commemorates the Battle of Waterloo and the spot where William, Prince of Orange, heir to the throne and Commander-in-Chief of the First Corps of Wellington's army, was wounded. Let's take a look at the what we've got here is a typical gun, artillery gun and carriage. So the carriage was usually for the ammunition, so that would have been the carriage there. that could be pulled by the men and then attached to the gun and towed, presumed by horses. And there's one of the guns. Also around here is typical, well, I think you call it bivouac. So the kind of thing where the troops would have stayed at the time. So troops would have had a fire going, there's a churn there, cooked over that, and then lived within these tents. So the tents are not much really, possibly a chair, something to wash. There would have been thousands of these spread out all across in the distance behind the lines. I don't know if you can hear an ambulance in the distance, but it's certainly not coming from this one. These must have been a traditional ambulance, something to shift the wounded. I presume they're pretty much got thrown in or dragged in. I think these were the steps at this end, and then possibly drawn from this end is another one of the guns that would have the shell and the shot or whatever within it, plus the gunpowder. And there's a line of about 6. There we go. There he is. There's the lion on top of the mound. There it is. One last time. This picture was taken from a reenactment, so that's why the soldiers look surreal. They are actually real people. So this was a reenactment of the battle itself. There's the crowd to watch. Wow, I thought that was really cool. It just dawned on me while I'm having a walk around the shop that actually just about everything relates to Napoleon. You know, I mean, the kids' toys, the books are all Napoleon. Nothing of Wellington or Waterloo in general. Well, there is Waterloo in general. The only thing that I can find that relates to Old Nosy, Duke of Wellington, is that t-shirt. Everything else is Napoleon.
Non, t'as pas le droit. C'est lui qui le fait. Ah, moi je le croque.
Here's what would have been a printing press of the day. Guillotine. I think these are pictures of people that were. How cool is that? Watch. Charlotte Court. I tried to. George, Prince Regent. Franz Kaiser von Ostrich. Friedrich Wilhelm III von Huben. I think that's the Russian contingent. And there, in the background, is a painting of the man himself. It's a huge painting of Napoleon. The French victories in 1805 and 1806 against Austria, Prussia and Russia allowed the French Empire to expand its influence in Germany, Poland and Italy. And at the height of the Napoleonic Empire, in 1812 the empire is at its peaks, now boasts 130 departments and is surrounded by states which are allies or are governed by members of the Napoleonic family or Napoleon's family. There's a picture of Napoleon. He was a premier consul and this was painted in 1803. Strange pictures. Very strange. Picture on the back of the Trafalgar, so that must be Victory there on the right. And this is crossing the Berzina. Oh, we've got British troops walking up the left flank and French up the right. So more French troops and British troops. I think that's supposed to be Wellington. Old Nosy, I think they called him. The troops. I'm saying that they're British, these are French. These are all French soldiers. But on the British side, they weren't just British, they were Germans and Russians, Dutch, Belgians. These are all part of what would have been the Allied forces. And there's Silly Billy, William of Orange. There's what would be Napoleon and some of his commanders discussing tactics. And more French soldiers. And then there was the German army, which are these, which is Blucher's army. So these were the Germans, these are the ones that came late into the battle and actually changed the course of where it was actually going. So if it wasn't for the Germans, we could have possibly won. Gun being fired. The weapons would have been swords, so to take a look at sort of swords that they would have used, then let's see, what sort of damage it can do. If the infantry and artillery of sabres, briquettes, French infantry sabres and bayonets was used to defend themselves, parry blows or push back the enemy, and the cavalryman's main weapon of choice was the sabre. This is the sabre. I think the sabre was more of a slashing weapon, whereas a sword was more of a parry weapon. So I kind of expect him to take the top off that melon. Body that was left from the battlefield. I'm assuming the red bit is what was made up afterwards. And these are the things that were found with him. So some coins, spoon, belt buckle, penknife. I think these was some of the little emperor's belongings, his hat, his bowl and chest. Surgical first aid kit. We've just been in to see the most amazing 3D film about the battle. It was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. There's a bit of a timeline. We'll zoom past that. And some skulls found off the battlefield. I guess certainly did for him. And was constructing the mound. So it's the actual construction. Not really sure what the samurai stuff is here for, but that's the samurai warriors. Clothing. And, that's a better view of the mound. Fabulous. So this stone marks the last position of G Troop Royal Horse Artillery, commanded by Captain A.C. Mercer during the Battle of Waterloo, 18th of June 1815. And from here the troop took a conspicuous part in defeating the attacks of the French cavalry. So they must have come from that way. So they would have just come over that rise. Okay, Wellington set his troops here. It was a long lane at the attack of the Imperial Guard. The French Army's elite battalion was unleashed shortly after 7:30 PM. Under heavy fire from the Allied infantry and artillery, the Imperial Guard was forced to pull back, which was a signal for the rest of the French army to retreat. At about 8 p.m, the Duke of Wellington was able to advance his troops to victory. So I think what actually happened, if my history serves me right, just this side, which would be over the rise, we're pretty much on the rise, all the British troops would have been laid down on the ground and the French wouldn't have been able to see them, and then the French Napoleon's own guard came up onto there, came up this bit of a rise this way, and then Wellington had his troops stand up from this side and then fire volleys into them. I think after a few volleys the French turned and went, and once they did that, which is his own Imperial Guard were retreating, the rest of the army retreated, including Napoleon. Hougoumont Farm was chosen by Wellington to complete his defence system in the west. It was against this farm that Napoleon launched his first attack on the 18th of June 1815 at about 11:30 a.m, headed by his brother Jerome, with the aim of making Wellington withdraw from the centre of his line of defence. The Allies resisted heroically and the Duke did not fall into the trap. The British Guard did not give the French troops the opportunity to infiltrate the farm, and the assaults continued relentlessly for more than 9 hours. Thus Hougoumont became the site of a battle within a battle. At the turning point of the fight, reinforcements and munitions entered the northern gate from the Allies' main line, situated about 500 metres away from the Hougoumont. The gate was not barricaded, unlike the other entrances. This is probably why about 40 French soldiers succeeded in forcing their way into the farm, until 10 brave English and Scottish soldiers managed to close the gate again. At the farm, and there's a memorial to the Foot Guard, Regiment of Foot Guards. It said, in memory of the officers and men of the 2nd Battalion who died defending this farm, 18th of June 1915. The farm again holds quite a strategic position as it's on a bit of a rise, so everybody would have had to walk or march or run uphill to attack. This is inside Hougoumont Farm, so this is what the British defended and was the centre of Wellington's defences. Obviously it's been rebuilt back up again since. And here's a memorial to the British Army, or to the men closing the gates on the war. So the army never upon any occasion conducted itself better. Next to a battle lost, the greatest misery is a battle gained. Apparently those 10 men that actually shut this gate was the difference between winning and losing the war. It stopped the French from actually getting in. So those 10 soldiers, I suppose we owe a lot to. And there's another commemorative plaque. And this was a chapel. Visitors are requested to treat this chapel with respect, or within its walls and the memorials of the 15th of June 1815 in many of the brave defenders Hougoumont passed to their rest. So this chapel is where some of the defenders of Hougoumont would have been, would have died possibly, and there are some memorials around. And model of the Hougoumont. How it would have looked. The only actual traces of what's left from the Battle of Waterloo are actually here at Hougoumont. No. So, this is Hougoumont. So, in remembrance of the men that fell at Hougoumont on the 18th of June 1815, this chestnut tree symbolises the wood that stood here and was planted to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the birth of the Duke of Wellington, May 2019. So there would have been a wood here, and I know that the French attacked through the wood to there.